Hello and welcome to the 3Bs podcast, where we go beyond the numbers and get into what actually makes a business work. I'm your host, Stephanie Marshall, founder of ABCS UK, a multi-award-winning boutique finance and systems partner. I help business owners who've outgrown the basics bring clarity, structure and proper systems into their business so things finally feel in control. If you want more clarity, more confidence, and a business that doesn't feel like constant chaos, you're in the right place. Each week we tackle real problems, answer the questions you're probably already thinking, and give you practical steps you can actually use in around 15 minutes. So if you're ready to build a better business with confidence and clarity, then let's go. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the 3Bs podcast, your go-to place for around 15 minutes of motivation, education, and inspiration to help you build a better business each week. If we haven't met before, hi, my name is Stephanie Marshall. I'm the founder of ABCS UK, a multi-award-winning boutique finance and systems partner. I help growing businesses who have outgrown their current bookkeeper move from messy and reactive finances to clear and structured numbers and systems they can actually use to run their businesses properly, because I really care about the people behind the business and not just the numbers. Today's episode is inspired by something I've noticed over the years. Successful business owners don't necessarily work harder, and they don't necessarily have more qualifications. What they do have is a rhythm, certain habits, certain routines, certain things that they do consistently to help them stay in control. And one of the most underrated times to do those things is a Friday. Now, before you switch off because you don't work Fridays, bear with me, because this isn't really about a Friday. In fact, I tend to do it on a Monday. It's about creating a weekly reset point, a moment where you stop reacting and start preparing. Because one of the biggest differences I see between stressed business owners and confident ones is that one group starts every week scrambling to catch up. The other starts every week knowing exactly what needs to happen. And that difference is often created before the week even begins. Today I'm going to share 7 things successful business owners do every Friday, or in my case Monday, or at least every week. Number 1, they review the week they've just had, because most business owners finish Friday by immediately thinking about next week. But successful business owners pause first. They look backwards. They look at what worked, what didn't, what took longer than expected, what created unnecessary stress, and what actually moved the business forward that week. It's amazing how much you can learn from a single week when you stop long enough to reflect back on it. Because if something worked well, you want to repeat that, right? And if something caused frustration, you want to fix that. Too many business owners live week after week without learning from any of them. Number 2, now you know what I'm going to say. They look at their numbers. Hear me out. I'm not talking about spending 3 hours analysing spreadsheets. I'm talking about spending 10 minutes understanding where your business currently stands. What came in this week? What went out? Any invoices outstanding? Any unexpected costs? Any cash flow concerns? The goal here isn't perfection. The goal is awareness, because problems that are caught early are usually much easier to solve and cause a lot less disruption in your business. Number 3, they chase outstanding invoices. I know, nobody enjoys this one, but successful business owners understand something that's really important. Cash flow isn't somebody else's responsibility, not your bookkeepers, not your accountants. It's yours. If money is owed to your business, you need a process for collecting that. And it's not because you're being difficult, because you've already done the work. I've said it before and I'll say it again. An unpaid invoice is not income. And Friday is a great day to review what's outstanding before another week disappears, or in my case, a Monday morning to start the week ahead. Number 4, they clear their head. This one sounds really obvious, but this is the one that I think more business owners need to understand and need to implement. Getting everything out of your head and into a system. Whether that's tasks that need to be done on your to-do list, ideas for things that you can go back to when you've got more time and space capacity to look at those things, reminders for things that are important, and concerns. The things you've been meaning to do, we've all got that list. Because carrying everything mentally is exhausting. It stops you from growing your business because other people in your team, other freelancers, other employees, other staff members don't know what's going on inside your head. One of the reasons business owners feel most overwhelmed is because they're trying to remember too much. Your brain is brilliant at having ideas. It's terrible at storing them because you are receiving so much information on a daily basis. Write it down, put it somewhere reliable, stop carrying it around, whether that's a process putting into your CRM, whether you have a voice note section in your phone if you prefer to talk things out, whether you use the notes in your phone, whatever you do, keep them all in one place. It can even be pen and paper if you like to do it that way. Many people get their best ideas at different times. Me personally, I get my best ideas usually when I'm out and around driving or in the shower. I love talking to the shower gods. They give me the best information and ideas. But I can't sit and write that down when I'm driving or I'm in the shower. So I will voice note. I will speak to my phone. I will say, hey Siri, and put a note into my phone for that idea or that reminder. Number 5, they review their diary. Have you ever started Monday morning and realized your entire week's already chaos? Your back-to-back meetings, didn't know that you had back-to-back meetings that day. No time to focus, no prep time, no breathing space. That's a really important one, making sure that there is gaps in your diary for breathing space, whether that's to take a lunch, whether that's to catch up on anything that has slipped throughout the week. Having a gap in your diary, like a meeting or a task, I think is really important. Successful business owners don't leave that until they're in the thick of it. They look at the week ahead before it starts. They check what's already booked, what preparation is needed, if any, what deadlines are coming up. In the bookkeeping and accountancy world, everything we do runs on deadlines, be that tax, VAT, payroll, annual accounts. Everything runs on deadlines. What needs moving? Is there things that actually need moving around? So you've got something in your diary, a meeting, a project, something that actually needs moving further down the line. What needs protecting? So again, that lunch break time is super, super important. It's something that I really need to get better at doing because I do book that time in my diary, but I often fill it with other things. And really, I should be stepping away because, again, a lot of the greatest ideas I have come from when I'm not actually working in or on the business. Once Monday arrives, it's much harder to be strategic if you're going straight into it. I have that hour set aside on a Monday morning to do my KPIs, to look at my week ahead, to do any plans or chasing. That is my non-negotiable protected time to set me up for the week ahead. I also make sure I have no meetings booked in Monday morning. So I have Ask the Accountant podcast. I watch 8:30 to 9:30 on a Monday morning. 9:30 to 10:30, I do the 3B podcast. And then from 10:30 to 11:30, I have a clear hour in my diary so that I can do all my KPIs, all my tracking, all my setting up for the week ahead. So if you don't work Fridays, that's not the end of the world. You can pick a different day. I personally don't like to do it on a Friday because I don't like to then sit and worry all weekend about what's coming up the next week. I finish on a Friday, don't think about it again until Monday morning, knowing that that whole of Monday morning is already structured. I'm not going to be interrupted. There is no fire to fight in that morning gap, and then I can plan my week ahead. Number 6, great business owners decide their priorities. Now, this is a really big one because most business owners start the week with a to-do list, whereas successful business owners start with a priorities list. And they're not the same thing. You might have 30 things to do, but I can guarantee there's probably only 3 things on there that genuinely matter right now. I tend to ask myself what would make the biggest difference if I got it done today, and what would move the business forward if I did it today. What's that thing that I am putting off that if I did it would really help move the business forward? Because if everything is important on that 30 long to-do list, I mean, mine's a lot longer than 30, nothing is actually important. And when you know your priorities, decision-making becomes much easier because those are the 3 things that are non-negotiable. They're my priorities. That's where my focus is sitting. And finally, number 7, they finish the week properly. And I think this might be the most overlooked habit of all because successful business owners finish. They don't just stop because there's a difference there. They close those tabs. They respond to what needs to respond into. They tidy up loose ends so that then they can switch off. Now, I know that's easier said than done. I'm a business owner, trust me. But as a business owner, I know exactly how tempting it is to keep checking those emails, to keep thinking about work, to keep solving problems. One of the biggest turning points in my own business came when I gave myself permission to spend more time with my family and more time on hobbies outside of work, like going to concerts and going to motor races. The business didn't suffer. In fact, quite the opposite. I became more productive, more focused, I'm much better at making decisions because I left myself no room to procrastinate. Because business owners, believe it or not, we need rest too. We're not robots. And in my experience, rested business owners make better decisions. Now, if you're listening or watching this podcast and thinking, that sounds great, Stephanie, but I don't have time for all of that, I want to break it down for you because this entire process could take you less than 30 minutes. 10 minutes to review the week, 5 minutes to review your numbers, 5 minutes to check your invoices. If you've got a great credit control procedure in place, you've saved 5 minutes there straight away. It might take you 1 or 2 minutes just to check everything is coming in as it's supposed to. 5 minutes planning your priorities, those 3 things. 5 minutes reviewing your diary. 30 minutes or less. That's it. 30 minutes to create a better week. Most business owners lose far more than 30 minutes every day through the lack of planning alone. And that's why it's so important to do this. Now, the reason successful business owners do these things isn't because they're naturally organized. It's because they've learned that clarity creates confidence. And when you know where your business stands, you make better decisions. You know where you're pointing the needle. You know where you're aiming for. When you know what matters next week or this week, you do feel less overwhelmed. Because that 30 strong to-do list suddenly becomes 3 priorities, and if there's time to do more, great. When you understand your numbers, you worry less because you know that the costs are covered, the wage bill's covered, you know what's coming in, you know what's due to go out. And when you have priorities, you stop reacting to everything, you stop giving everything the same level of importance because it doesn't have the same level of importance. And that's what this episode is really about. Not productivity, control. Before we finish, as with every episode of the 3Bs podcast, I want to give you one move this week, one little thing to do that should really make a difference in your business by next week's episode. And this one might be a little obvious, but this week I want you to block out 30 minutes in your diary. Every week. Same day, same time, non-negotiable. Call it your CEO meeting, book a meeting with yourself, your weekly reset, your business review. I really don't care what you call it. Protect that 30 minutes. Because those 30 minutes could easily become the most valuable appointment in your diary every week. And with everything, you do it week on week on week. It creates habits, it creates consistency. That helps you to make other decisions and be more consistent with other things in your business. And suddenly you've got that structure that you never had. You're no longer winging it and firefighting. Everything feels easier in the business. Let's be honest. Business rarely feels overwhelming because there's too much to do. It feels overwhelming because there's not enough clarity around what needs to be done next. And the business owners who can create that clarity consistently by having those weekly meetings are usually the ones who build sustainable, successful businesses, which I presume you want to do by watching or listening to the podcast. And it's not because they're smarter, and it's not because they're luckier, it's because they prepare. If this episode helped you think differently about your business, then I would love to hear from you and let me know. Please make sure you're following or you're subscribed on Spotify or YouTube so you don't miss the next episode of the 3Bs podcast. And if you did find it useful, you know another business owner who is also winging it and flying by the seat of their pants, leave a review or send it to them. It helps more business owners find this podcast and start running their businesses properly too. And if you'd like support creating better systems, clearer reporting, and more structure in your business, that's exactly what we do at ABCS UK, because your business deserves better. I'll see you next week for the next episode. Bye. And that brings us to the end of another episode of the 3Bs podcast. If this has helped you think differently about your business, then it's done its job. Make sure you're following or subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. And if you found it useful, please do leave a review. It helps more business owners find this and start running their businesses properly. If you want more insights behind the scenes and the reality of what it actually takes to build a better business, come and connect with me on social media. And if you're ready to stop guessing and start running your business with clarity, structure, and confidence, your next step is just a click away, because your business deserves better. I'll see you in the next episode.